Hello, hi, I'm Gia Goodrich, and I am so bummed that I can't be here with you today. I happen to be at this very moment speaking at a conference for photographers, and out of the 2 days, of course, it's at this exact moment that my talk is happening. So Megan was gracious enough to let me pre-record something so I could still chime in and say hi. And if we're just meeting, hello. I'm a gay mixed Black artist, photographer, and content creator over on YouTube because I am just super passionate about creating content to help people show up fully as themselves and feel confident and amazing so that they really can create a powerful context for who they are and what they do. And because of the Imagination Project, I am also now a podcast creator and host of the Bold Bitch podcast, where we have bold conversations around taboo topics every week. You can listen wherever you listen to your podcast. But I'm super excited to get a chance to share a little bit about the process because it's been a whirlwind. I've talked about this on the show in one of our recent episodes, but the part that was so amazing and synchronistic about this is that I can't remember the person, but somebody forwarded me the Imagination Project on Instagram, and I've never been somebody who's won anything, like very few and far between. So I just never think it's going to be a thing. So I just, for the heck of it, was just like, all right, well, whatever. Let me just send a little something. We'll see how it goes. And then I forgot about it. So then when Joni called me and had said, hey, congratulations, you won, I think that they could tell you that I didn't really have a big reaction. It took a second for it all to sink in for me. And part of that is because I hadn't thought about it again because I just thought there was no chance in hell that that I was actually going to win. And then when it sunk in, and it was like, oh, this is really a thing. Then this whole holy moment, we have to make this happen. I have to make this thing happen because now there are people who have really demonstrated that they believe in me, believe in the idea. And that felt like this really exciting thing, but also this pressure cooker, which is exactly the type of stimuli I've realized I need to actually make things happen. So I was super excited, and knowing myself, I have a super neurodivergent brain. And so getting things done is really challenging for me unless I have accountability and deadline. So the deadline was there, but then accountability. And the first thing I did was really enlist my amazing partner in this whole project, our producer, Brittany Blair Wright, and convinced her to come in to help produce this. And she was really the person that helped keep things on track, hold me to my word, and really helped get liftoff. So yeah, it was awesome and also terrifying at the exact same time. This journey was amazing and also terrifying and surprising in so many ways. Like, I came into it with a totally different idea. I thought it was going to be more of a success-based podcast called Success Obsessed, and this idea of gleaning information from successful people that we can apply to our own lives. And as I really started ruminating, thinking about how this could exist in the world, I just kept coming back to this other idea. Really, there was a lot of time where I was sitting on the fence trying to figure out which one would be better. And ultimately, I ended up really going with my intuition and settled on the Bold Bitch podcast. And what I really loved about this idea, this iteration, was that it wasn't about success, which can be coded in such external measures that really I wanted to get to something deeper. And at the same time, I've always been the kid and then grown into the person who's asked, well, why? And really tried to dig into people's minds and the way that they think and how they view the world and have these conversations that are taboo. So the idea of sitting down with amazing humans and having raw, sticky, awkward, taboo conversations really coming from a place of authenticity, it was just deeply inspiring to me. So in that moment, when it really was just like, okay, we're locking into this, it's about being bold, I'm going to double down. Then I went through this whole process of almost like being a poser, if that makes sense. I went through this whole branding process and idea iteration that was really about me projecting the aesthetic of boldness as I would love it to be. We did this whole photo shoot. We went really far down this path and I had an initial key art for it. Like, we really went far. And then the more I kept sitting with it, the less it felt like it was really resonant with the core of the message, which is really defining boldness as I do, which is having the audacity to listen to that sense of internal knowing despite everything else. And as I really sat with that, I realized that, we have to just scrap all this work we've done, start from scratch and move forward this way. Once we started really locking into things and I started working the language, setting up the gear, it really started to feel like, okay, this is a real thing. This is really happening. And during the process, I kept checking in with Megan and Caitlin in this great way to really just find that re-anchoring. It kind of felt like this like grand council of people that I could just check in with and see how things are going, talk to about where I'm at, which was so helpful because so much about this process necessitates risk and really showing up in this big way, not knowing how things are going to stick. And of course, going through all of this now, I know that there are so many things I spent time and energy on that really ended up not to be a big deal. And there are other things that I totally missed that ended up being a huge deal. So now I feel very inspired to also create content around this to help other people who are wanting to do it because it's so much easier than I thought. I think I made it a lot harder, but there were a couple things that I did really get right. And one of them I think is the core attitude and really being clear about what we want to do. So when we launched in January, it was really amazing. And I have just been thoroughly overwhelmed by some of the people we've had conversations with. I mean, one that hasn't even aired yet is with Sonia Renee Taylor. Yeah. You know, like there have just been so many cultural game changers, rebels, people who are just boldly and authentically being themselves and having an impact in the world that I've been able to connect with and have conversations with in this super meaningful way. And that to me is the power of podcasting and is the power of doing your own project, is really being able to invest in this thing and watch it grow and the community you can really build around it. So yeah, there have been some highs and some lows. I've definitely broken down in tears a few times, gotten in a long-standing argument with my producer that we're like fine now. But when the pressure is cooking, it's not always the best part of you that comes out. And then found an amazing editor, Danae Popovich, who's just fabulous and just building the team and the energy around it. And of course, being able to talk to really amazing humans. The biggest thing I've seen is really the permission that it gives to other people when they see you just ferociously follow your path and create something. There have been so many people who've sent me a DM who've just said, wow, it's really been inspiring to watch you build this thing from nothing. And yes, that's true. But then also I had amazing support and I had an amazing team. But the idea I think is the same in that we all are these wonderful, amazing humans that have these urges and desires and want to create and have an impact in the world. But so often we aren't really allowing that to fully flourish. We aren't allowing ourselves to fully create the thing. For me, the amazing part of this whole project is seeing the ripple effect and how it's really inspiring other people. And also in the conversations that it's giving people permission to talk openly, think about some of these tough conversations and different points of view and really just communicate from this authentic, bold place. We've aired 12 amazing conversations spanning all types of taboo topics and simultaneous to putting the work out. Now we're in this place of refining, tuning, honing, looking at how we can grow the Bold Bitch Mafia, which is our community of bold bitches who are loving the podcast, and really thinking about ways that we can grow this thing, because podcasts are interesting in that you can really develop amazing community and energy around the content itself. But in terms of searchability, it's not like a YouTube where it's really easy for people to find you. So one of the things that we're really working on is how do we grow this? How do we create word of mouth so we can give the podcast the best chance for being listened to by as many people as possible? So that's what's on my brain right now. So my vision for the podcast is to really have it grow to be a juggernaut where we can really be having all sorts of conversations with people who are having a tremendous impact, like Brene Brown and Oprah. I don't know, like I have a dream list of amazing humans. And then also simultaneous to that, have it be a place where there's a lot of discoverability. People who are operating in a more local capacity or haven't been given the opportunity to really be amplified in that way, to have a space for them. And then also one of the things that we're really playing around with, and we just aired an episode around that, is to do these kind of bold conversations with people that I have a relationship with or I'm just meeting for the first time, but then also to have bold conversations with the people in my life with whom I have really intense emotional stakes. So the last episode we just aired was me having my first conversation with my ex-best friend, who also happens to be this amazing human. And we talk about his transition. We talk about his amazing company that he just started. So there are lots of things in that, but part of it is being bold in having these conversations and comparing notes and taking ownership of our attitudes, of the ways in which we f***ed up, like just all of this, and really encouraging that type of authenticity and commitment to just showing up fully. So I'm really excited about where it's going to go. And if you're feeling into it, the best way that you can support us is by joining the Mafia, which is free at boldbitch.com. And then also just sharing it when you can. What we've learned about podcast and discoverability is so much of it is somebody saying, hey, I listened to this podcast, or I listened to this amazing episode. I want to send it to you because it made me think of you. All right. So thanks so much. I'm so bummed I couldn't be here in person, but I'm glad I got a chance to talk to you a little bit about the project. And I think it's just so important for me to say that I'm so deeply grateful to Future Prairie, to Creative Mornings, to Wacom for creating this opportunity, because honestly, 2020 would have been a year, a lot of things, but it wouldn't have been the moment where the Bold Bitch podcast would have been birthed. I had been procrastinating. I'd been sleeping on this for so long that it really took this gift monetarily, but also really the biggest gift was a group of people saying, hey, we believe in you and we believe in this idea and we're going to help you make it happen. Like that is just truly the biggest gift possible. And I'm so, so grateful for it. Bye.